I made a retro horror game in 7 days, and this is how I did it. To kick things off on day 1, I wanted to focus on a mechanic I've seen in a ton of indie horror games, and that's of course a monster that chases you around. I couldn't decide who I wanted to chase the player, so I just settled on a clown as the main threat of the game, and from the start, I knew I wanted him to feel aggressive, unpredictable, and a little silly. Now for day 1, there was really no deep lore or an explanation as to why I was using a clown. I just found this model on Sketchfab, made it a little scarier in Blender, and uploaded it into UEFN. Using some tutorials, I built the AI to hunt players by tracking whoever was closest. Once it locks onto you, there was no way of getting rid of it unless you left its range. This might sound pretty simple, but honestly it wasn't. The clown broke down so many times, I had to fix animations, the way the model interacted with the environment, and the code for its pursuit all the time. For some reason, sometimes it would just stand there, vibing, and the worst was when it completely ignored the target and just wander around aimlessly. Now, I spent hours tweaking, detecting ranges, and adding fallback logic, and trying to manually set up its patrol route just to make it feel functional. And after the first 2 days, I got it to behave mostly. It would roam until it spotted a player, give chase, and if the player got away, it would reset and roam randomly and pick a new target. Now, this thing took way too long, but now I had a clown, and I needed a way for players to get away from it. So I looked at a popular idea in most horror games was the locker system. I had made the clown too fast so that it would be easy for him to track you down and win. However, now I needed a way for the players to stay safe. So right after the clown, I started by setting up a basic locker blueprint. The idea was that the player would press a button, enter the locker in a quick cinematic, and be safe from the clown hunting them. But from the start, it didn't go quite as planned. The first thing I tried was basic. When a player entered a locker, it would play an animation and close the door. That part worked. But the problem was, with the clown AI, it would continue to chase the player as if nothing happened. So I tried using a mutator zone inside the locker to make the player invisible to the AI. In theory, this zone would make the clown act like the player wasn't there, but it didn't work. The clown still targeted the player and sometimes even clipped through the locker. Next, I tried despawning the clown entirely, then respawning it elsewhere, hoping it would forget the player, but honestly, this would just cause the clown to bug out and for some reason mess with its animations. But after a long day of tweaking, I actually found a workaround that worked. Here was my plan. When a player enters the locker, a cinematic camera plays, a hiding animation, and then the player is teleported to a completely different zone in the level far away from the AI. There, the player is actually outside of the range of the AI, so he gets forgotten about until we push the same button to get out of the locker, with another animation playing as the player leaves. Now, if you're wondering why the solution feels like a fever dream, it's because it is. First, the language I'm using is so silly to work with. I just found the simplest solution that I could come up with, and it's definitely not the cleanest solution, but it was working. And since I only had 7 days, it had to do. Those 2 mechanics took up a long time. So on day 3, I decided to focus on something a little easier, and that was designing a puzzle sequence. I wanted the gameplay to feel like more than just running and hiding. So day 3 was all about building a proper challenge, a full puzzle sequence that would give players something to actually figure out under pressure. I decided to set it all in the mines, just cause it fit the horror vibe, and the first interaction set the tone. You find a pickaxe, simple enough, grab it, and smash through the cage. And that's where the real game begins. For the visuals, I tried my hand at modeling in Blender for a bit, but honestly, I could tell I was going nowhere. So instead, I opened up itch.io and found this amazing PSX low poly style of graphics, and this one looks spooky, and honestly, I found a gem and just never looked back. Every step after that is connected. I made items that you can find like dynamite, because of course there's dynamite in the mines, and a bunch of things I thought would fit the story, like a gas canister, shovels, a minecart, everything. Now I know that sounds random, but I was making this story as I go. It was feeling a little bit confusing, but bear with me. Here's what I came up with. You use the gas to power a generator, but you also need a fuse. The electrical box is locked behind a cage. The cage only opens with a lever, and the lever is sitting inside a red lit spider tunnel that I'll talk more about in day 5. But the point is, each piece of the puzzle makes you go a little deeper into the game. You're not just collecting items, you're figuring out where they go, what they unlock, and how to stay alive long enough to use them. And every time you get something new, it should feel like progress and not another boss to check. What made this sequence so tricky to build wasn't the scripting itself. It was making sure it all felt natural. Like you turned the wrong corner, you'd find a clue or a needed item. I didn't want people to feel lost or confused, but I also didn't want to spell everything out. Unfortunately, as I played, it began to be more clear. It's kind of a random selection of items, and I would have to explain a bit. And honestly, by the end of day 3, my brain was mush from linking all the triggers, item checks, and cinematic cues. But when I finally ran through the whole sequence, it worked from start to finish. Totally worth it. Now, day 4 was all about building the atmosphere and introducing lore. So after day 3, I took a bit of a break from the core mechanics that were in place. I turned the game's opening and atmosphere and started with the intro sequence. The game had to immediately feel like there was some tension and a reason you were in the mine. So I created a short story. I made a cinematic of a car driving down a foggy road. You see a car crash, you crash, then wake up in a strange yard. I added this radio for players who wanted to know more about the story and why they were there. If you interact with with it plays a message about a clown who died in a carnival accident and was never found again. I was loosely tying the background and setting the tone for the story. I had already kind of built this forest yard circus thing, and I was like, might as well use it. The next step is entering the tent, where basically you black out again. When you wake up at this time, you're in the mines, and this is where the real game begins. The clown has been introduced. I was slowly making a game feel more natural. These first days were all about building core systems and establishing the tone. The locker mechanic, the AI, the intro sequence, together they actually were building the game. On day 5, with a bunch of mechanics done already, I felt like this game was really becoming something, but it was still a bit short. So I decided to implement a sort of subsection to the game, the crawl space. This mechanic was kind of simple. Players interact with a button and get teleported as though they crawled through an opening. So after adding this mechanic, I realized that even simple mechanics can do a lot of heavy lifting when it's used right. I placed it here so that it could connect the tutorial level to where the clown could chase you. The crawl space was able to do a very important thing for me. First, it gave players a quick escape path from the clown. It makes the level feel more connected together, and it was a great way to go from the tutorial level where the clown couldn't catch you at all to an area where he could. I placed this crawl space strategically next to the locker system to make sure the pacing stayed tight and players felt like they were progressing. Designing around it, I also made me think more how players navigate horror maps. During this day, after making the crawl space, I needed a place for the players to crawl to. I made this small cave system, smaller than the players would be used to, and decided to put a giant spider in. Honestly, what's a mine without a giant spider? Now, I knew this mine had to be useful. Players would not only use it to escape the clown, but it should have something to collect. I decided to place this lever here to open up the cage to the electrical box that would power on the engine, and a gun in a different part of this crawl space to actually unlock one of the endings. For day 6, I was just fixing a lot of issues, as well as making different types of outcomes. For example, this third ending, but I think you should play the game if you want to find it. I knew that the game was really missing something, and that was clues. When walking through the mines, I could feel that the player wouldn't have an understanding of what to do, and that's why I decided to add books around the map. I placed a unique material that symboled an exclamation mark. When a player walked up to it and interacted with this book on the chest, it would show a clue, a step towards finishing the game. I added these all around the map for every single step. In case a player was lost, they could check every book and see what they were missing. All of my UI and graphics were actually made in Premiere Pro. Using some simple tricks, I was able to export each of these edited frames as a PNG and import them into the game. And honestly, that kind of wrapped up day 6. For day 7, the last day was all about fixing bugs, adding finishing details and hoping it all held together when I had my friends play this game. From the audio cues and lighting adjustments, the final 24 hours were pure cleanup. The AI clown froze, the spider pathfinding was a bit glitchy, and some of the camera angles felt awkward. But with post-processing effects, menu tweaks, and audio balancing that I all did behind the scenes, the game finally felt complete, if still a little janky. Alright, so this is me a few days later. I've just finished editing everything, and before wrapping it up, I really wanted to see how the game felt for other people. So I decided to play with 2 of my friends, and this is how it went.
Whoa!
That's
what is this?
Oh my god.
Right now?
Dude, I think we're in the car. I think we're driving.
Oh, it's a car? You put a car in here? Holy
I think that's us.
You made the game.
Yeah, I made the game. Oh my god, what is this? How do we get out? Yeah, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. Get out.
I have a plan.
Plan. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, I'm stuck.
Oh my...
The miner's controlling. The miner's controlling me right now. It's controlling my mind. Okay? I don't with this. What's going on?
We gotta find shelter. Oh my god.
Oh.
God, dude. God, just jumped us. Whoa, where are we? Where are we? Oh my god, I think we're in the mines.
Find the pickaxe. Okay.
Oh my god.
The gates, dude. Is this the anime gates? Am I gonna fight medieval people?
Yup. I don't need the gate though.
Whoa, Batman, dude.
Okay, get in the locker. Get in the locker. I'm gonna press the same key to get out. Holy.
Tutorial sequence on point.
Tutorial sequence. Look.
What you're doing. Game design. Kojima.
Hide here. One was crazy. I'm actually afraid of clowns.
It's crazy.
I'm not actually. I'm not with you.
Here's the goal. Nah, that one's broken. You cannot hide in that one.
This is kind of freaking me out, dude. I'm getting PTSD right now. I'm seeing the war.
I think we gotta be quiet. He might be around here somewhere. Okay. Holy.
Let's go straight ahead.
Oh my god. Look behind us. Go.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's the clown. Run. He's dead.
Move, dumbass. Move. Why can't I run? What the hell? No. Can't sprint right now. That's so stupid. Sprint.
Oh my god. It's the miner.
Harry, I don't like this, bro. Whoa, more caves! Ah!
Oh my god, no! Run back! Turn right!
No!
Okay. Now all we just need to power the generator. Oh my god, all we gotta do is power the generator.
God.
Okay, I just turned on the gas. Oh my god. We're gonna win, we're gonna beat him. Where are you? Where are you? Oh! Oh my God! Mike.
Damn, dude, there's like an actual happy ending. This is crazy. Oh, what the
All right.
Shout out my Twitter.
Yeah, shout out my Twitter. Shout out my YouTube. Hey, that was the miner. That was the miner. How'd you like it? Out of 10. Out of 10.
It was a religious experience. I can't rate it.
Oh my God,
Because
really?
It was ethereal. I feel like I'm closer to God now.